I can never find the best music to make this work. I feel like I'm in the background trying to like click all these buttons, trying to find the best music, and it just doesn't hit the same way that I anticipate. So because of that, I'm just like, ah. So just playing it out that way. But everybody, I am so excited to be here with you all. Happy freaking Monday. How's it going? Who's pumped for the week? I know that I am. Everyone, if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to ThumbstopLive. This is the show that's happening every Monday to Friday, talking about all things creative strategy. And where you can get to know us a little bit better is on our X or Twitter page. So if you are interested in learning more, I'd say check us out there at ThumbstopLive, at ThumbstopLive, Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern to 1 p.m. Eastern. And we are streaming across all the platforms. So shout out LinkedIn, YouTube Live, Instagram Live, and of course, Twitter. So for today, I'm pretty excited. So this one, we're supposed to have a couple different guests come up with us. We're supposed to have Kelly join us from UGC Pro and everything that she has going on. But unfortunately, last second things came up. It's all good. She's not going to be able to join us today. But we will be having Sarah Levinger join us later. So Sarah will be joining us at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. PT, 10 a.m. MT, 11 a.m. CT, 5 p.m. in Europe. So one of those times. But we have the amazing Sarah Levinger who's going to join us then as well. So honestly, what I'm thinking to do is anyone in the chat, let me know if you want to come up and hang out with me. I'm always down to just like bring people up and chat, and I can send you information. But since I've been kicking off with the different Thumbstop lives every single day, I'm quite behind on my work in general. So I was gonna do some work and show you all how I think about the world here at Motion. And I'm trying to wrap my head around our go-to-market strategy, essentially. So that's the plan of what I'm going for. And if anybody likes what they see, they can add a comment, or if they want to know information, they can chat with me back and forth. But I'm thinking that's what I do, okay? Cool, y'all. So let me go ahead and share my screen to show you what I'm going to be doing today. All right. One of the questions I've been getting a lot is like, Evan, why the hell are you streaming? Like, isn't this just like so much work? What are you doing? And for me, my preference with anything in my style of approaches is I just want to do it because as quickly as I can do it, you get so many learnings along the way. So for me, what I'm always looking for is like, how can I collect the learnings as fast as possible? So as much work as it's been and as behind I am on the other things I want to tackle, I feel like the amount of learnings that are floating through my brain are endless at this point. And basically what I'm looking to do is aggregate those thoughts and be like, what does this actually mean from a strategic standpoint? So what you're going to see today is like me talk through and get my thoughts on paper, essentially. If I'm completely honest, never done this before, so don't know how it's going to go, but I'm hoping it's cool to get this kind of peek into someone's head. So where I usually start with like my go-to-market narrative and how I view the world is pretty simple. It's like, what do I want to be able to say? And usually what I want to be able to say is some version of like motion is at the center of any creative strategy decision. But to make that happen, there's so many question marks. It's kind of like, okay, well, to get there, what needs to be true and what do I need to be associated with? From there, how do I then get associated with it and tell those different stories? And usually, where I start, like you're seeing some of my previous work, and if you've heard me talk about creative strategy before, you would have heard this language that I used quite a bit. So for me, what I'm thinking about is like the category we've built. And the category we've built is creative strategy. So we help put a definition to it, and it's a lot of language that's being adopted by our industry. And then the first thing that I always talk about here is our head nod effect. So it's like if we say words, what does everybody go, hell yeah, to, essentially? Because if you can nail your head nod effect, then you know you have people on a problem they truly care about. And then the story that we have can be seen here. So this was my previous point. Let me get caught up to speed. Yeah. Yeah. So this story is still applicable in my mind. I just think where the edits are needed are probably down here, because it's like the only way you're going to succeed on paid social is amazing creative. But I think really in this world now, it's less about the teams being on the same page. It's more about like incredible ideas. So the process and the way that I work is honestly, I just generally start jotting all my thoughts down. So you're going to see a bit of a mess, but it's okay. We're going to aggregate it together. So I think the first thing is our stages of funnel, right? So we have, and then the second thing we have are our formats, channels. Probably move this up. Team and time split. Something like that. So what I typically do is I write all this stuff down of like where my head's at, and then I'll organize it after into, okay, well, where should we actually focus our energy? So if we think about this, it usually gets broken down into top, middle, and bottom of funnel. And because we're operating in a new world, like our world is social first. I think a lot of the traditional marketing experiences and approaches are still applicable, but I definitely think we're in a social world first, where most people are consuming content on their phone these days. So top of funnel for me means virality and views, saves and shares, sales, something like that. And I have a lot of notes on my notepad that I've kind of been accumulating over time. But are we well positioned to do or is anyone else? Divisional and team. So this way, I can get all my thoughts down and then have everybody on the same page. But for anyone who's new tuning in, because I'm seeing new people drop in, what we're going through is like, since I've started live streaming Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern at ThumbstopLive, check us out. I haven't had a chance to do like regular work that I wanted to do. And then through the streaming, I've been able to accumulate so many different learnings of what's gone on. So it's just like I have so many different thoughts in my mind, and I'm just trying to aggregate the thoughts. So right now I'm just going through a brain dump, and then I'll aggregate after, essentially. Okay. So something here of middle and bottom of funnel is probably the same. And then what I want from both of these is some variation of width, depth, width. So depth is going to be into our existing audience with strategies. Now this could be, okay. And this is defined as like D2C e-com, right? And it's content creators, creative strategists, media buyers, heads of growth. Something like that. And then width is either new segments or new audiences. No. So this would be new industries like this, or new roles, e.g. brand person and e-com brand, something like that. I'm seeing more people roll in. So just to get everyone caught up to speed on what I'm doing here is originally today we had Kelly from UGC Pro and Sarah Levinger who are joining us. Kelly unfortunately couldn't make it. So Sarah's going to be joining us in around 45 minutes, which I am excited for. But what I'm doing now is I'm trying something new. I'm basically like, I'm behind on a lot of the work that I need to do since I've started streaming. So now what I'm doing here is I am putting together the go-to-market narrative for Motion and like how I'm viewing the world. I don't think this represents how anyone else thinks like at Motion. It's just like there's a lot of thoughts in my head since I've started streaming that I want to get on paper here. Okay. Messaging. Common enemy. Afraid of. To accomplish. Okay, so there is Twitter, LinkedIn, all of our social channel, IG, TikTok, YouTube, something like that, right? Cool. This looks good. So now the next thing I want to do is work into the stages of funnel specifically. And then it filters down into channels, formats, and this should be content like that. Okay. Stage of funnel. And then I have intended audience, width or depth. Channels could be all channels in all honesty, but I need content principles. If I don't have content pillars, it's going to be hard to filter into any of these. So the content pillar maybe sits on top of all of this, where it's like how does one come up with a content pillar, right? So basically what I want to do, number one lever for success. Honestly, it might just be one pillar that I can repackage. Right? Because if I only have one pillar, then I just filter down the pillars into different formats, and then the content can be adjusted for like what the enemy of this is. Like, let's say the pillar is like, I want people to have amazing ideas. It's like, okay, cool. What's the common enemy of amazing ideas, right? And it's like a lot of work. What are people afraid of right now? It's like AI taking their jobs, but it's like you still want a great idea without AI taking your job. And it's like, what do they want to accomplish? Some version of pay raise, depends on the layers we're talking to. So I think, okay, hold on a second. Something everyone hears me talk about all the time is just this idea of the altitude of conversation, the altitude of communication, and the altitude of thought. So basically what everyone's seen me go through right now is like I started in like an individual layer, maybe a team layer when thinking about it there, but it's now like how to bring it to the org level, right? So it's like, why even do this? So to date, moving forward. And then to date, why have I been streaming? The main reason is build a strong community. Not even build, it's like reinforce. Motions, position, something like that in the community on D2C X, Twitter. But moving forward, what it really is like it's multi-layered, right? So the number one goal that I'd like to achieve, not even with streaming, just like with our go-to-market, is like more and more signups. So to date, so this is the goal measured by attendees. Okay, guess attendees. This is how I've been doing it. Guest attendees, not just my attendees. I'm literally like from the guest perspective, how much of their audience joins, because like that part is equally as important to me, right? It's just like if they can get their audience to join, their audience gets to know them better, because I'm hoping to give not just tactical advice, but like peeks behind the curtain, like what's going on for these people, right? So measured by guest attendees, people who agree to be on the show, which has been insane. Like I'm booked out to the end of the month already. So it's like there's been so many people. DMs, positive DMs, which is great. And then the number of clips produced, like that. So now what else I'd want is more and more signups. And you all might be wondering what that means. And at some point, I'm going to show you what motion's cooking up. We got some fun stuff. Like that's going to be absolutely incredible. So we need more and more signups. And then to achieve that, we need to access new audience members. And that most likely means like if we need a lot of people, so a lot of new audience members, and that means we need a very wide TAM, huge TAM. So not just decision makers. That's important to me because like the TAM could be like the TAM of an individual media buyer is much larger than like a CMO TAM, right? Like if I'm just talking to CMOs, then it's going to be a lot smaller than if I'm trying to talk to just media buyers, right? Like there's so many more people. And the product that we are working on right now is freaking fire. Like it's going to be helpful to everybody along this way. So I think this is what I want, right? So it's like important to know the TAM. And then the content pillar, so the head nod applicable to all roles. And then I think the adjustment here is this. To make amazing creative, you need winning ideas, right? That makes sense, right? It's like if you're a brand, you want to acquire new customers. Paid social is typically a big channel to do this. To succeed on paid social, you need amazing creative. And to make amazing creative, you need winning ideas. Like everyone is always searching for a winning idea, ultimately. And like winning ideas are in the form of formats, they're in the form of content, of product, of style, of concept, of hook, whatever it might be. Those are all examples of what winning ideas are. So that's ultimately what we want to achieve, I believe. Cool. So with that in mind now, that brings me back to our stages of funnel, right? And then what we really want here, TOF, MOF. Goal. See, now I start to reorganize this so I can wrap my head around like what the hell I'm trying to say. Okay. Virality and views. Saves and shares. Like that. And then BOF sales, right? But then if I'm going through this and I'm thinking about like where the team should focus ultimately, it's like this is a given. So we probably don't even need to talk about that, right? So it really comes back to the content pillars. So my pillar I'm saying is this. Let's say, okay. So let's delete this. And then what I really want, formats are really series, right? Like that's what I want. Because so I'm a big fan of like Shopify and what they do online. So here, I'll take a look online and show you guys what I'm looking at. So if we look at Shopify, I know Michelle quite well. Michelle used to work over at, where did she work at? Compoundo Studios, which is Vitali, based in Toronto. But they have a really cool.
Did you know that
looking at. So if we look at their playlists, they do all of these, right? How to start a new business in different industries, AI tools for business, dropshipping university. There's so many different ways like this. But then on TikTok, I feel like I've seen a lot of this too. Like someone I think of quite a bit is shout out Orange John, man. That guy's an OG. He's a legend in this. But what's his name on here? People must know. Oren Meets World? Maybe? Yeah. I feel like I've seen his content and then there's a theme to it, right? Product versus brand. That's what I was thinking of. So different series that way. And I know Oren also talks about this a lot. So I think format and series is ultimately what I'm trying to drill into a little bit more than anything. Okay, so where are we at here? What are my goals? First things first, reinforce within the community, check mark. Now we want more and more signups. So if you're tuning in, sign up for motions, see what's going on. Yeah, shout out LinkedIn user Orange John. You already know. Thank you. Yeah, Oren's content's great. And I feel like I saw those content pillars nice and easy. So now this is not a pillar. Like really what I'm saying is like my central idea. And then this is all appendix, but really what it is are winning ideas. This is what we want. My holy grail. And then this is all the other pieces down here. You can see how I work is quite messy. But there's a method to my madness that comes together and then I can execute quickly. So there, stages of funnel I'm realizing are less relevant now. So we can come back to that because I think stages of funnel will more matter for like teams, but really what we care about are some variations of series across channels, right? Okay. So now I just got a brain dump. Right. So series is content. And then format is like content, not distribution, but look and feel. Like if we were going to do hot ones, you know what I mean? Anyone who's listening in, it's just like we could have a common enemy, but then hot ones is like the format that we're following or something along those lines. Or we could say, I don't know, what people are afraid of and then do it like a Jeopardy show, right? It's like what people are afraid of. And then we have our columns like AI is up top. recession, tariffs, and like that type of stuff. It's like tariffs for 200, please. And I feel like that could be cool, right? Ooh, I'm cooking. Come on. I'm cooking right now. Okay. So content wise, what we got going on, just got to write down all these ideas. Series idea, content idea, something like that. Creative. Want to accomplish. Series name, because series name is equally as important, you know? You guys know what I'm saying. And then it's like, how do people work? Okay. So this, what are people afraid of, is like AI taking my job. Looking like I don't know what I'm doing. What else are people afraid of? Like when you're in your day-to-day job, right? Like getting fired, maybe? Not getting a promotion? Anything else? Maybe, right? Now, what do they want to accomplish? Promotion. Make more money. Get a fancy car. Go on a fancy trip. What else do people like? What else do people like? Work-life balance, right? Right? Yeah, shut up. I'm not a work-life balance person. I'm kind of joking on that one. Common enemy of making great ideas, forced creativity. Lack of inspiration. Too many meetings. What else? What else? Lack of inspo, too many meetings. To make a great idea, the reason you wouldn't be able to be heard? Yeah. Not bad. Not bad. I like that. What do they want to accomplish though, right? When you say be heard, like that's what they want to accomplish. Like if I put it here, like that. And then how people work. So how people work is interesting because I think like what's evangelized is like balls to the wall, work hard, nonstop, like kill yourself. But I think the reality is like how people work, like want to exit the rat race, right? Like trying to tap into human emotion here of we're talking about a wide range of people. What do they want to do? So get more done in less time. Yeah. Right. You know, it's also tough here. It's like, who is the intended audiences we want to go after? So it's like, I probably need to wrap my head around that in all honesty. So I still want ideas. So if people have ideas, I'm down for those. But I'm also thinking about like existing and potential audiences. Right? So what that means is the existing side of things and then potential UGC creators. Shout outs if you're a UGC creator. You already know the vibes. So we go like this. Companies. companies roles like that. And then existing is like D2C, ecom, agency, or brand. And then roles include org level roles, management roles, IC roles, so media buyer, creative strategist, creative team member. Management layer is like, I don't know, director of accounts, head of growth, something like that. And then it's like CMO, VP marketing, founder, head of growth, VP paid media, etc. So then potential, I want to expand. Give me a second. That's so funny. Sarah just messaged me. I gotta get back to her real quick. Make sure she can join later. Dun, 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 dun. You guys know that song, right? I know. Perfect. Got it, Sarah. Good to go. Sarah's going to be joining us in a little bit, everybody. Sarah's going to be joining us in a little bit. But okay, sweet. So here we go. We got the different roles, all the different people we want to target, and then the potential new people. So it's like company-wise, we could be expanding beyond just D2C ecom. It's just like harder to do, I'd say. Like it's a different problem. So if we say role expansion, it could be like UGC creators, it could be brand folks, operations. That's probably it though. That is probably it within the existing roles. And then company type kind of goes to whatever. So it's like industry is more what I think. Industry. So it's like automotive, telecom, stuff like that. Okay. That's helpful to write down. But yeah, something like this. Content idea here. Then what else do I have? Format. And then I need to wrap my formats. What formats do I like from the past? I like talk shows. Shout out Arsenio Hall. Hot Ones is a good format. That seems fun. I cannot handle my hot sauce though. If anyone's trying to get me to try hot sauce, hell no. Cannot do that. All my friends try to do Hot Ones just for fun. I am the filmer. I will film and make sure we get the content. But guess what? I'm not eating none of that hot crap. So I'm not messing around. I'm not messing around. Maybe if they send me some hot sauce, but at the same time, I'm going to look at that and give it to my friends and be the filmer again. It's like someone has to take the content and not die. Someone has to take the content and not die. Cooking shows are always good. I think formats, I think what I'm realizing is like doing something else that has a time duration on it so people can anticipate when it ends, right? Like that's ultimately what we're looking for when we say formats. We want to know when it's going to end so we can say like, hey, this is a 3-minute video. By the end of this, you'll know something or whatever it might be. Okay. I also think, so kind of going back to content ideas, what do you want to accomplish? So Be Heard was a good one. Shout out to LinkedIn user. But the other one that we want to do is what do I want to be like the best brands. So it's like I want to be like the Glossiers. I want to be like the Hexclads. It's like how can you embody that? And then how do people work? Something around like culture, pop culture, right? So it's like how people work in a way that accommodates pop culture. E.g., like how many people were watching Love Island? Like Love Island took the freaking world by storm, no? So it's just like with 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 Love Island, it's like tying into those micro moments. They might not last and they don't have the longevity, but I think it's really cool. And being able to just say, like, I was a part of that moment to accumulate a new audience could be awesome. Okay. Sweet. That is helpful. What other formats? Talk shows, hot ones, cooking shows, video game, beat a level. What else? I think the outdoor boys are like something around that, right? But I feel like there's so much in there that becomes nice and easy. Okay, sweet. So let's take a look now. Stage the funnel. Great. The channels. Gotta write channel notes. Right? So let's go ahead and insert this. Channel notes. Hey, easy. So we're gonna go IG, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, right? And then channel notes for IG is like quite polished. I heard someone mention this recently. I think it was in a TikTok, but it was like IG is an email where TikTok is the group chat. So something's more polished about Instagram and like what they're doing there, whereas TikTok is like a little bit more outlandish. Shout out like Vine days too. So I heard that and I'm like, could be the case. So polish, short form matters. And this is real, let's say. Short form matters. YouTube. There's two pieces to YouTube's. It's like shorts, vids. It's like longer. Has to be educational or entertaining. Best case is both. Right? That's what we want to see. And then LinkedIn is like professional, but that line is blurring, I'd say. And then X is how to describe X, just the general thoughts. So it's like words, short form video, written content, authentic written content, hot takes. That's what people want on X to expand your audience, right? Community. This is like our version of Reddit. Like I feel like so many other people have Reddit as a part of their process and like where this is spoken about. Maybe it's worth adding. I'm just not on Reddit a ton myself, like outside of personal. So I don't really know what's spoken upon Reddit so much as it relates to like D2C ecom or starting businesses. I'm not super sure if it's consistently active or what's going on over there. Honestly, would love to know, like just on what you all are seeing. If it's something that makes sense. Cool. Okay. Well, cool. Okay. That feels like a good starting place. So basically the part that I haven't done here is like there's a brainstorm that's ultimately needed, right? And I think where stages of funnel comes into play is after we figure out the content series. Because once we have the series, then it's like, how do we make that either viral middle of funnel, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, and who's doing it, right? Like, so, so what happens if we did this as an option too? So now what you want to know is like, who's going to help you distribute this content creators, right? So you can go sponsorship route, e.g. YouTube videos. So you can do sponsorship route across all platforms, internal team members, right? And then it's just a question of like per platform. And it's like, who's going to take on each of these content pillars and will they resonate on all platforms? So that means there are still a list of questions I need to answer. Okay, what platforms should we focus on? Not gonna lie, everybody, from a working in public and showing you all this, I don't usually work and talk like this. So trying to do it all at once and put it on paper while I'm actually trying to solve like a legit motion problem, I'm finding it challenging. I'm not gonna lie to you all, so bear with me, please. But yeah, I'm viewing this as like a legit thing to solve. So I've been behind on my work and need to catch up. So we can start with like, what platforms should we focus on? How many resources do we need to support a single platform? Right? That's probably it for now. Okay. And then this is a question I ask. Right? And this is something about resources. Cool. I can delete my slide there now, so it's a lot easier. I saw the viewer count go up quite a bit. So everybody, if you're just tuning in now, welcome to ThumbstopLive, y'all. I am streaming every Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. Eastern to 1 p.m. Eastern across all platforms. So shout out to LinkedIn, YouTube, X, Instagram. Haven't figured out TikTok yet, but I'm gonna get out there for sure. Today is an exciting day. We are going to have Sarah Levinger on. She's going to be joining us at around 12 p.m. Eastern time. So we're around, I think, 12 minutes out from that. Super excited for Sarah to join. I feel like I've known Sarah for a lot longer than I realize now. So I'm excited for her to come in and start sharing her thoughts. We were also supposed to have a guest join us a little bit earlier, Kelly from UGC Pro. Kelly's incredible, but something popped up last minute. So you know how life goes. We are supportive of people. So it's all good. So what I've been doing here is, since I've been streaming, y'all, it's busy, you know, like setting up all this work. We have guests planned out until the end of the month. I've been behind on like real work. So I've used the first little bit of time here to walk people through how I think about solving problems as it relates to motion. So there's been something on my mind, like, I don't even say something particular. It's just ever since live streaming, there's been so much information that's been floating around in my head. And I'm just trying to grab it and throw it onto paper right now. So that's what everyone's seeing me do, just like grab my thoughts and throw it onto paper. Does it make sense? I don't think so. I think it's a bit of randomness, but like I said, I'm talking out loud while doing a lot of this, which is unnatural to me. So you're going to see, I'll take it away, come up with some stuff, and then we'll go to market later and you'll be like, oh shit, I saw Evan do that earlier on. That's pretty freaking cool. So I think that part will be a cool experience for people to go through. So let me jump back in. As we settle here. So stage of funnel, the formats, the channels. Yes. So I think my big thing now is like maybe an analysis of what's happened to date as I have to present this to people, right? Where are we at so far? So it's like live stream and then existing acquisition. And then our channels here are paid ads. events, white papers. If no one's been to a Motion event before, you already know we got creative strategy coming up in the fall. That thing last year had 18,000 people sign up, and so many knowledge bombs are being dropped. So our events go crazy. I don't know who's seen our ads out in the world, but we run a bunch of ads. So if you've seen those, shout out to our team working hard on that. And white papers. We dropped the creative trends report. Honestly, it was probably a while ago now, so we're due for another one. But white paper wise, dropped the creative trends report, which is super exciting. So live stream has been a community build. YouTube organic social, maybe like that. Yeah. So with in-paid ads, I think what I'm trying to figure out is less like content pillars. It's probably a question I have. So since I'm not completely in the loop, I think the question I need answers to is like, what are our central content pillars? What is a content pillar? Like I'm saying that word, like I know what it should be. I also found out that a lot of these AI overviews that they're trying to compete with ChatGPT with hallucinate all the time. So it's just incorrect. So content pillars are foundational pieces or themes that guide brand strategy. That's not necessarily what I'm doing. I think it's just like a central idea. Okay. So then what I'm really saying is like a content pillar has to be either or both education and entertainment. Right? Cool. Okay. Cool. Yeah, this is so interesting. I'm so interested to know like what we're currently doing. I only get visibility into so much, right? So I know the team is accomplishing a ton of work that I just don't have the visibility to. So it'd be pretty awesome to get some feedback on this kind of stuff. Okay, so we have 7 minutes here. I don't think I'm going to be able to do much more work just to get ready on this side. But what I do want to do is I spoke about earlier, it's like everything related to creative strategy is so interesting because what we're all in search for is the next winning idea. Now, most of you might have thought I was going to say the next winning ad, and you are correct. The winning ad is important, but where you need to start from is the idea. How do you make sure that you're coming up with a diverse amount of ideas that get you access to so many different audiences? And one of the things that we're working on that I'd love to show you all really quickly. Let's see if I can find some. Honestly, not too sure, but let's see. Okay, I got it. Perfect. So something that we are curating here, and honestly, it's going to be in the product at some point, is by bringing it up. It's what we are calling sparks. So essentially, the way we're viewing sparks is all of you in your day-to-days need content ideas. Need it, right? So with the content ideas that we are doing here, we're essentially trying to create a feed-like experience that gives you insights into what you can actually try. So for example, we see things on Twitter like a Savannah Sanchez will post related to a hook idea, or we'll see different AI ideas coming from different people along the way. But these are all different ideas that you can start to try and run with. And I think one of the coolest things about this is that you have a chance to update and apply your brand knowledge as well. So what that means is I can literally take this and I should be able to open in my preference of choice. But let's say I take GPT here. Now what I'm seeing is a markdown description of what's going on here. And now what I need to do is ultimately add additional information. So this isn't going to get me to the point when I can actually create an ad by any means. But what I'm trying to do is, not even sharing my screen. So this is what I meant. Shout out GPT-5. We are here. Love to know what everyone else thinks about GPT-5 and like what that's going to do. But essentially in this view, now what we can start to do is be able to say, okay, fantastic. We're literally going to take the information that we saw within the Spark feed right here. And then now I'm going to apply it to my brand. So this alone won't get you to an end state that you desire. But what you can start to do is add your own additional context on top of this. So you want to add in brand examples. What ads are currently crushing it? What is not? Who are your personas you're going after? So you can then get a look and feel that you're quite happy with. But the idea being is you have all these different, we'll call them like a feed of net new ideas that are going to be able to help inform what you can do. And I think along these lines, something else that I'd love to show is basically within our newsletter that goes out every Sunday, we're often publishing different ideas. So last week, we actually published a newsletter that was talking about different formats that you can try out. And within those formats, you can start to see when we scroll down, we have different buckets at play where it's easy. And there's like formats that are already in ads that we think are winners. So let's just try these out. There's medium where they're emerging trends and we're just seeing that organically play out. And then there's hard. That's like the bleeding edge of what we're starting to see. And in all honesty, like the hard, the weird, the random, that might die a bit. Like we don't know if that's going to scale forever. But the cool thing about this email here is like if I'm scrolling through, when I look at the easy section, you can start to see that you can actually output this stuff directly to GPT as well. So I have the fake tattoo one right here by Grunz. So let's say I wanted to do this. So I can actually go ahead and open this one up in GPT like so. And the first thing I'm going to do is just input it, and then I'm going to add additional information after. So what I will do is choose 2 to 3 that would visually and emotionally pop in a short. Okay, product range. So I think for anyone who's been tuning in into the live stream for the past little bit, everyone knows I've been talking about David. So David Protein and what they have going on. So let's go ahead and take a David Protein bar. I'm not going to do the wild caught Pacific cod. But, everything sold out online. Damn, that's crazy. Good for them. Good for them. But let me go ahead and take one of them so we can just play it out a little bit more, okay? Okay. So the product we're doing this, rate of 5 short, open loop selling that makes people want to know more. Is this like high protein, low cal? And then the last part, suggest visual direction so it mimics use a man aged 25 to 34 looking in a mirror taking a selfie, something like that. So now what we're doing here is that we'll let GPT work a little bit. Please build the image. We got to say please just in case they take over the world at some point, you know what I mean? So it's just like if we're nice to it, we might have a chance here to be able to survive. Cool. So while it's working in the background, just to refresh everybody, essentially what I've done here is I've gone into Thumbstop, so our edition of a newsletter that goes out every single Sunday. And what I've done is I've took one of these easy formats that's being worked on, and I've chosen to take the Grunz option. So the tat right there. So let's see what they come up with. But basically all of the different ideas that you see here, you're able to recreate in GPT and play with. Now, as it gets harder, like some of the ones beyond, it's not going to be as easy to create in all honesty. Like you'll need different pieces of access to make it work. And when I say access, is like you might need VO3 or something along those lines. But it's a really great starting place for you to be able to all try and build out ads on your own. If you'd like this newsletter, drop a comment in the chat. I'll make sure to get you a link so you can sign up so you can get this information. But it's nice and easy. You should be able to see it, okay? Now, GPT is taking a little bit longer than I anticipated. Oh man, y'all, I was right into it. ChatGPT broke my computer. What the heck? How can I get how can I work? How can I make this come to life? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about that, everybody. Literally got shut the hell down and said, nope, get out of here. You're blocked. Not happening. So I feel like I have to jump back in there to figure out how to make that work a little bit better. But like I was saying, everybody, what I was showcasing to you all before I rudely got kicked out, what I was showing off was that our newsletter that drops every Sunday is ultimately featuring different ad examples that you're able to use as your own inspiration and open up into Chat GPT so you can create it in what matches your brand. So there's so many different cool ways that can happen. But as I was putting this together, guess what happened? I got freaking kicked out. Maybe all of us got kicked out. Who knows? But I'm so curious to see if ChatGPT was actually able to create a proper image for me. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I think it did. Let me show you what I have here. Let me show you what I have. Okay. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Here we go. So this is what I now have for you all. this is not good, right? This is not great, right? This is not great. I feel like we got kicked out and it just said, screw it, I'm going to make this one. And it's going to try its best. Oh, man. But everybody, you've heard enough of me talk and try to set the stage for everything we have going on. We've had a chance to walk through my brain a little bit and how I view the world of being able to build out new go-to-market strategies, especially just in motions world. We've also had a chance to play a little bit with GPT and what we had to build on that side. But without further ado, what I'd love to do now is welcome Sarah to the stage, everybody.
Hey.
Hey. How's it going, Sarah?
Hi. Oh, it's going great. I am slowly starting to like disintegrate my brain and trying to get ready for Q4. I'm like, everybody we're going to be okay. Just take a breath. Other than that, though,
Yeah.
it's been a really good week.
Do you have a specific process you use to like try and be like, all right, Q4 is here. Like, what do I need to do? Is it just
Mentally?
breathing exercises or what are we doing?
We should have like a Q4 meditation that we all do every day. Just everybody bring it together. The funny part about Q4 is it sneaks up on you. Like it's already mid-August, people. I'm like, okay, we're gonna be fine. It's gonna be great. So other than that, no, I just try and remind myself, you got a few days left. You're okay. You got plenty of time. Everybody's
That's
good.
right. That's right. The mantras help get us through. Well, it's so good to see you. I was talking to a sea of abyss in the live earlier, but I'm like, damn, I think I've known Sarah now for like 3 years, maybe three
We
and a
have.
half
It's
years
been a
or
while.
something
Yeah.
like that. It's been a
It
while,
flies
right?
by. Yeah, I think you and I met very, very first, like motion was starting to just come up, like you guys were taking off in the industry. And I was over here like little creative strategist in the corner. But you guys were lovely and always just like invited me to the conversation. So I appreciate you immensely because
Oh my
that's
gosh.
all I
No,
want
you're
to
the
do.
best. No, you're the best. You're the best. Your energy is always unmatched. So it's always happy. I'm always happy when I get a chance to chat with you. But Sarah, I'm wondering if we just kick off like nice and easy for the people who don't know with a quick tell us about yourself, what your work experiences look like. Honestly, anything you're willing to share, we can go
Yes.
from there.
Okay, I'm Sarah Levinger. Hi, everybody. I'm a creative strategist. I'm a performance consultant. But predominantly, I'm like a researcher of humans. I just want to know. I'm very nosy. I just want to know why humans do the things that they do. So I started out in the industry as a media buyer in 2018, 2017, something like that. And Matt Lady, shout out to him. He was one of the first guys that like brought me under his wing and like was trying to cultivate my media buying skills. And I remember a conversation where he was like, you're an okay media buyer, but you're a really great creative strategist. Like your skills in media buying, but you're really good at creative, right? So, and that's 100% not on him. Sarah loves media buying, but I was so invested in the creative that I just couldn't get enough of it. So I got switched over to creative strategy early 2020, like right before
Mm.
COVID hit. And I just like I dove straight into it, got crazy with it, and then kind of rode the waves of iOS 14, did UGC for a while, and then landed in consulting mostly because I was applying a lot of psychology and behavior science to all of the ads that I was creating. And that was just based on I had done about 10 years of research into behavior science and psychology because it was interesting more than anything else. So 10 years of just consuming information, started applying it to ads. And they just, every single time we applied psychology to it, they were crushing in the ad account. And like I said, this was like early UGC days, early on hooks, like really early in there. So then I did that for probably about 3 or 4 years, just consulted and started to try and understand like what does the ecosystem need? What does D2C really need from like a creative strategy standpoint? And that kind of morphed into me building something called Tether. So Tether Insights started out as a company that was just going to do market research for D2C brands because I'm nosy. I want to know why people do things. And it's starting to kind of morph into more of a systems, like an OS system for pulling insights straight from the internet, activating them using psychology, and then drafting ads, UGC, video, everything from that based upon what the insight is saying, not necessarily what the ads are saying. So it's been a journey. We're like wandering around over here, like, what are we doing today? That's how things go.
I love that so much. Honestly, I didn't actually know that that Matt was the person like
I haven't
in those
understood. Yeah,
early days.
I'm like
Yeah,
Matt. He was so kind to me because he was very much like, let's try it. Let's take you out of the wing. Yeah, and he was very first one that was like, you got skills. Like
I
creative
love that.
strategy is your place. And I was like, yes, thank you. I love
I
ads.
love that. I love that. That's actually such good timing too. Like speaking
Yeah.
of like iOS 14 changes and then leaning in right at that point, like
Yes.
killer timing and no
Great time.
wonder that it's been able to take off ever since.
It's been fun. I love this industry. I can't get enough of it. I'm gonna be here till I die. So
Oh my gosh. Sarah, I've done this thing where I've actually gone ahead and like found some tweets of yours. And then I
okay.
wanted to go ahead and pull them up and like talk through some of them.
Okay, I'm ready.
It's a wide variety. There's some that are like more strategic, more that are personal. So we'll go through
Mhm.
them. But the first one that I wanted to pull up here is I think it's one of your most popular tweets of all time.
Oh gosh. Is it the KFC one? I get
Not the
called on that
KFC one.
constantly.
Not the KFC one. I saw that one, but
Okay.
I'm like, she might just talk about this all the time.
Who knew KFC was popular? That's
I
funny.
know, I know. But this one here,
Mhm.
2.5 million views, which is why I was like, damn, like people really
Yes.
love this one. But it's a longer thread and it starts with how
Yeah.
marketers think people buy, which is 1, 2, 3, but then how they actually buy. How do people or how should brands operate in a world like this?
It's intense. I think it's one of those things we all know in the back of our mind that like there really is no funnel. There is no awareness stages. That doesn't really exist. They're just helpful markers and structures that marketers put in place because it helps us try and figure out what the heck we're doing and how to look at marketing. in general, though, I did not imagine that this was going to pop off. This particular post was written in 10 minutes before I dropped my kids off at school. I didn't have anything to post that day. Some day, people just know, creators on the internet, it's not like we have like unlimited ideas. Some days it's just like, I don't have anything to post today. So I'm just going to post this. So this one must have been some sort of subconscious processing that did well, because I was like, this is just an interesting concept that I've been thinking about. Here's how we kind of see it, but this is how it actually works. The buyer is just going all over the place. And you can think of this as like, you are both a consumer and a marketer. If you watch your own behavior, like it takes a minute for you to get back to like buying mode for any product, even if it's a product you really, really want. Oftentimes you're just distracted because that's the world we live in. So this one was funny because I was trying to kind of walk through the fact that like distractions come in many formats, like cats and like random things that like land inside your ecosystem. It doesn't always have to be, oh, you know, they saw a different ad or they scrolled. It has nothing to do with just the social media side of it. It could literally just be like they're at work or like it's sunny outside and that's why they're distracted. We're talking about humans here. So to answer your question, I think most marketers could benefit from understanding that it is not our job to interrupt or persuade or sell anybody on literally anything. Our job these days is reminder marketing. We have to remind people that they were interested in solving this particular problem, or possibly that this is something they've never seen before. And we have to remind them that like, you're still interested in odd things. You still want to purchase something like this. So we've moved out of like interruption marketing. We are 100% in reminder based, like persuasive in the fact that people are still wanting what we have. But our only job is just to remind them that I still want it. That's basically it.
That is huge. I love that so much. And what I am wondering is when you are working or like consulting with your brands, or now like on the operating system as it starts to advise brands on what to do
Mhm.
next, are you just operating in the ad world, or are you also
Oh,
expanding beyond that?
that's a good question. So I'm currently building kind of our operating system at Tether OS for ads, but you can
Hmm.
basically use it for anything, because what I'm building is a system that can take the insights that we pull from everyday stuff, automating that like ingestion of insights, if that makes sense, and then spitting out ads on the back end. So you can change the actual output. It doesn't always have to be ads. But yeah, in general, I'm building it so that it accounts for this. Because it's like I can teach GPTs all kinds of things. I can give them context. I can do deep research, but the output seems to always be the same. And we've noticed this as we're using GPTs for our clients. Like over the past 18 months or so, the GPTs seem to just be regurgitating the same thing, or they sound the same, which really bothers me. I love chat. I'm in there all day long, 100%, like power freaking user. But I don't like the way he talks. He, she. What is chat? I don't like the way chat speaks. It's very boring and it uses a lot of the same language. And as somebody who's like very expressive, clearly, I have a hard time with just like, don't give me a boring ad. Like it needs to be interesting. So, anyways, that's half the reason why I want to focus in on insights. Like, what are we actually building from? And then build towards something that's going to communicate a lot better.
Sure, sure. That's super helpful. And I think it's a good transition to AI because I have pulled
Mhm.
up one of your posts that talked about prompts.
Yes. Oh
So it's
my
like,
God.
here
Yeah,
are
this
9 prompts I use.
this one always does well. I think because I don't know, Sarah kind of goes against the norm a lot of these days, but a lot of the current rhetoric around prompts is that they have to be super long. You have to ingest lots of content, which I've seen good results from that style of prompt, but I've also seen great results with just a sentence. So yeah, this,
Hmm.
this one did pretty well and still does pretty well.
I think people just want the prompt so they can try it on their own. And they're just like, okay, is this
Yep.
gonna, like you said, match the same voice that I want? Can I
Yeah.
add the additional context that's needed? And then they can start to play with it. So it becomes nice and easy.
Yep.
But in
Yep.
your world, I guess like you talked about being a power user of chat. How are you using AI in your day to
Mm.
day? It sounds like everywhere, right?
Oh gosh, I watch a lot of content on AI these days, mostly because I just find it interesting, but also because sometimes if you watch, I specifically watched one recently with Sam Altman. Gosh, who was interviewing him? I can't remember her name. Very pretty. She's lovely. She does a lot of content specifically around like AI technology, those type of things. I need to send it to you because it's a really good YouTube video. But he
Mhm.
was talking about the fact that like a lot of people are using chat for basic things and they're not utilizing it at the level that it can absolutely perform at. So we use it a lot for copywriting in this industry, which is great and it's pretty good at it. What I want to use it for, though, is analysis of things. So it can spot stuff that I can't see. So oftentimes, as marketers, once you start to digest enough information about something, you'll start to just assume things. And that's just how the brain works. Like, we're working off of memories. So the brain's going to recall things that make the most sense. Like, I'm pretty sure this insight is communicating this. If I go into chat, though, I can analyze things where it'll pull out context that I didn't see based upon the fact that it has thousands of data points to pull from. Yeah. And it does a lot better of a job, I think, on the output side, on the copywriting side, if I can do some deep analysis. So I'm using it for analysis, but I'm also using it just slightly for this is gonna sound weird, but like system setup. Like, to build the system, the Tether OS system. I had no idea how to build it. I was just like, this is what I want to do. And this is what I think I need. And it has to be in this platform: Monday, ClickUp, Notion. It's got to be inside something that the marketers use currently. And so I just said, chat, how do I build this? I don't know. And chat was like, oh, no problem. Use this board, put these columns in place, connect this N8N. I was like, oh, so that type of stuff. Like, I don't think we use it nearly enough for what it's good at, which is building stuff. I love it.
It's a really good personal assistant in that sense. It's just like, I literally have no idea. Can you just please tell me how I can, like, for me, it's like, how can I connect my mic to my Stream Deck so I can play audio at the same time so my audience can hear it? I'm like, I don't know. Can someone just please give me the keys? I'd love to know, please.
100%. Chat feels like a parent sometimes. I'm like, Mom, how do I do this? Like, how do I
Why is
pay
that the best
taxes?
comp ever?
How
That's
do I-
literally the best comp
Like,
ever.
how do I
Like,
get my rent set up? Yes, chat is very much a parent in that sense, because I'm not a developer. I study humans. But for chat, I mean, I could build a whole SaaS product in the next week just by like
100%.
So yeah.
I love that. I love that. And then the last tweet of yours that I've pulled up here is related to personal growth more than anything, I believe.
I've been really into
So
this lately.
it's actually going way back. So it's from
That is an old
2021.
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the most
Yeah.
influential people in your life may not deserve to have that title forever. You can outgrow people just like you grow everything else.
Yeah.
Growth requires us to make space for the new, expand by creating space in your head for your own thoughts,
Oh,
not theirs. Is this still true in your mind? How do you view personal growth? Like, any words you have to share here?
gosh, I'm trying to think of what was happening in 2021. I'm like, geez, Sarah, something weird must have been happening at that point. Like, guys, just this is how I'm feeling. I said, sometimes I post things on Twitter where it's like, I can't give you context for what's happening in my personal life, but I'm like really digging through this and I'm trying to communicate it to everybody just in case it's helpful. This was probably one of those things, and I can't even remember what was happening at this point in time. But this still rings very true for me. I have noticed in my life, especially recently, I don't, well, and I think a lot of people come at this problem of like, should we be trusting the gurus? Should you be following all these people on Twitter? Like, is this like, who's trustworthy, who's not? I tend to believe you follow people until you level up to their level. And then you don't necessarily need them as a guru anymore. You keep them as a friend. You keep them as a confidant, as a peer. And then you look for people who are at the next level and you rise up to them. So yeah, for that particular tweet, that I feel that like in my soul right now. Like, some of the people that I followed religiously on Twitter have become some of my best friends, but I'm struggling to like learn more. And I have a specific thing that I have a knowledge gap in that they don't necessarily specialize in. So I'm like, all right, I got to go find somebody that specializes in this. So yeah, you don't have to keep the same gurus forever, everybody. Like, make them a friend and then go find the next one. Yeah.
And what I am curious about is, like, for yourself as an ambitious person, do you operate off, like, you set goals every year that then filter into quarters, then months, then days, or how do you go through life measuring your own personal growth?
That's a great question. I don't is the answer. And I hope that everybody can feel me on this. I feel like there's some people out there that they're like, I have a goal, I have a 5-year plan, and I have a 10-year plan. Like, I'm hitting my goals every month. Sarah's over here like, this looks like a good idea. I think this is going to work. I hope this doesn't disintegrate the business. That's every day as an entrepreneur. I tend to match my goals to specifically what I want to experience in life. So, for great example, like I had a goal at one point to have kids. And so it was just like, okay, I don't know who I need to surround myself with. I don't know how to have, like, I don't know how to raise babies. But you just start drawing people to you because you have that goal. So it's already in your head and you start looking for things. The brain has like severe attentional biases. So if you have a goal, I want to experience maybe like living in Hawaii or like buying a Lamborghini or whatever it is, your brain will just automatically start looking for stuff that fits that just because it can tell it's pretty deep goal. That's a chemical thing. So I don't know, personal like growth wise, I tend to look at what do I want to experience. The next level that Sarah wants to experience is I want to own a SaaS company and I
Nice.
want it to be pretty successful. So I'm like, okay, who do I know that owns SaaS and where can I go to get insight on this? So yeah, it's I kind of fly by the seat of the pants, but so far it's working out well.
Very cool. Very cool. No, I honestly have had a chance to talk to so many different people at this point, and like
Mhm.
the idea of goal setting. There's some people who are like religiously
Yes,
on top of it, and I'm like, holy crap, you are so impressive.
I know.
Meanwhile, I'm here and I'm like, I have a sticky note to remind me to stretch. I'm like, if I don't stretch, my back's gonna hurt. Like,
You and me both. I'm like, I don't even remember last time I got up and peed. Like, okay, it's probably time. Like, I need to stand up for a second.
I
Yeah,
got one that says eat. I'm
that's
like,
what
if
I'm
I don't
saying.
remember, I need to eat.
Yes. Okay. So those of you who are watching this who are like, can I ever reach my goals as somebody who's just kind of scattered? Yes, you 100% can. You also, though, have to surround yourself with people who are very task oriented. So I hired somebody last year who's like literally the OS of Sarah's brain now. Blake, shout out to Blake. Amazing,
Shout
amazing
out to
operator.
Blake. Shout out to Blake.
I can't tell you, completely turned my business around. Like I am nowhere near where I would be without that man. Just because Blake understands systems and he's very much like, that's a nice idea, Sarah, but maybe not today. Like we'll just put that in the bucket over here. You got to have both. You got to have dreamers, you got to have builders inside a business to make it scale well. So yeah, it's important.
Very
It's
cool.
crazy over here.
Something I am curious to get your opinion on now is like you had mentioned your kids, right? And
Yeah.
I don't have any kids, but my baby feeder's through the roof. So at some
Oh,
point, I'm thinking a
it
lot.
hits hard in your like 20s and 30s. Yep.
I'm thinking about yeah. I'm getting there in my mid 30s. So I'm like, I gotta lock in. But something I have been thinking about is like a future parent myself,
Mm.
and I have been thinking about younger generations. I think
Hmm.
something that we heard a lot of was like work in your passion. Work on something that you're passionate about.
Yeah,
I'm
100%.
curious, like with your experience and like understanding the human mind, like I'm curious if that statement resonates with you or if you have any
Mm.
thoughts.
Yeah, I oddly enough, I don't know that the passion argument is wide enough. I think it's important. You got to work on something that you would literally just do, even if you weren't getting paid to do it. So if fishing is your thing, like you would just do it every weekend, like I'm just gonna go fishing because I like it, make it your thing. However, because we're in marketing, because this is business, an entrepreneur really has to weigh that balance between this is my passion and this is something people want in the market. And that's something I've had to like come to terms with because I've tried doing all kinds of stuff. Like I've tried selling prompts and I've tried just generating ads and I've tried a static agency, all kinds of different things. But I've noticed the one thing that I always come back to is Sarah just loves to understand humans. And that's a big gap in the industry. It's difficult to understand why people want to purchase things, right? Or what that's stemming from. So I stay in my zone of genius, but I also have to work within the brains of other people. So passion is important, yes, but you have to be able to develop something that people can use to benefit their own lives. Not everybody has the same brain as me. Like Sarah sits here and thinks about like, "Ooh, Evan, like how are you parented? Do you have any siblings?" Like, ooh, like I'm weird like that. But that's not useful to you as a marketer unless I can distill it down to a system that you can use over and over again to be able to help people buy things or sell things. So that's I don't know, roundabout way. Passion's important. Systems are more important.
Why do you think that you're passionate or you've grown to be so passionate about like understanding humans?
That's 100% my childhood.
Mm,
So I had one older sibling, my brother Josh. He's very different from me. He's very much like analytical mind. He's a data guy. Like he's just very number focused. I was very much like the free form youngest child who was like, I don't know, we're just gonna do this today. Very, very interesting stuff. But what you experience in childhood, teen years, like early 20s really does kind of define the rest of your life. And that was one thing I always noticed was I was always the person. Somebody told me when I was in my teens, like, why are you such a Debbie Downer? Like, why
oh,
don't you just follow the crowd? And that stuck with me. I was like, ow, rude. But also, it's a poignant, very poignant pin for Sarah. People noticed early on that like I would study things hard. I'd be like, well, why are we doing that? Behaviorally, that doesn't make any sense. Like you guys are going that way, but that's stupid. It's like that's gonna lead you to a weird spot. I don't want to go there. So people would call me out on it and they'd be like, why don't you just follow? So I was always studying. Like, why are people doing that? Why are you going that way? Why are you doing those things? And my poor boyfriends, when I was growing up, I'm like, why are you acting this way? Like, I was all constantly studying people. So I think a lot of like where I've ended up in life and my passion for studying humans was just an early thing. I was just really interested in why the brain does what it does and how that gets injected in there. And it's, I mean, people, this is going all the way back to like ages 0 to 7 is why people are purchasing your product. That sounds weird, but that's where it's coming from, is early years, all the experience of like social like issues or
Mhm.
being outcasted or feeling like I'm not good enough or feeling like I'm trying my hardest and it's still not working. All of those experiences in your teen years really do affect how you feel as an adult, and that affects what you purchase. So that's why I'm like, study, 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 study.
Mm.
Yeah,
That
I'm
is
obsessed with
so
it.
interesting because one of the things that I've been trying to think through of like related to passion is that passion. I don't know if this was the same for you, but growing up, it was always labeled as a thing where it's
Yes.
like you are
Oh,
passionate
same.
about this particular tangible thing. So for me, it
Mhm.
was like basketball. It's like I'm passionate about basketball. I want to work in basketball.
Oh, I didn't know you were into basketball. That's
I
cool.
like basketball quite a bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I played it my first year
I
of
had no
college,
idea.
and then I'm just like, I'm not making it anywhere. So let me just hang it up and
There's
retire.
something
I'll
you
trust
loved though. I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Something was quite interesting though. It's just like when I stopped playing basketball, there's almost a sense of like trying to find yourself, and like what that
Yes.
starts to mean.
Leaving identity behind. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes,
Mhm.
yes. But then it's like distilling it, and this is stuff that you obviously know, but like through my own journey, it was just like, hey, the parts that I liked about basketball were like camaraderie, like solving a common problem as a
Yeah.
team, and
Oh,
those things are quite special to
yeah.
me.
Mhm.
And then as life went on, like I think when I get told work in your passion, I was like trying to replace basketball with something.
Oh, ooh, yeah.
You know what I
That
mean?
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, and I love that self-awareness that you understood. I just liked it because I was around good friends who were like, we were
Mm.
all going towards the same goal. Yeah. Well, and that's interesting because your passions will change. Like Sarah's not going to be involved in psychology forever because this is not what I
Mhm.
was doing at like 6 to 10. I was actually into drawing. I wanted to work for Pixar. I wanted to
Oh,
like,
no
I
way.
wanted to be an animator for a long, long time and looked into going to college for it. Like I was obsessed with animation and then just randomly fell into marketing when I was like 21, 22. So just set on that path. So yeah, your passions will change and they're
Yes.
supposed to because the person you are at 36 is not the person you were at 26 or 16 or whatever it is. It's also not who I'm going to be at 46. So yeah, I would say any passion you have, even if it's a little one, because like outside of what I do in marketing, I love to sew. That sounds
Nice.
weird, but like I like to sew like historical, like weird, like costumes. That's just something Sarah likes to do in my spare time. Do I get to do it a lot? No, but it's still
Mm.
something I enjoy. And that's interesting because that might be my like third life career. Maybe
Mm.
I'll get into like Hollywood costumes and I'll just become like a costume. I don't know what's coming next, but I'm not going to say no to any of it because I just enjoy it. So, to your point, find something you really enjoy that gets you in the flow state where you just lose track of time and it's like, oh my God, it's
Mhm.
6 p.m. already. Find that and then figure out there's always a career that you can make from that type of stuff. So,
I
yeah.
love that description so freaking much.
Mhm, mhm,
I love that so much because like if you always attach to the end goal, you kind of forget
mhm.
you have to live every single day.
Yeah.
So it's like you might want that thing, but hate your life right now. You don't
Yes.
want to live that life. That's not
Oh,
fun.
no, no, no. Well, and some of these passions that I have, I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know that that passion actually sucked." Like, the lifestyle of that passion is awful. I would never wish that on anybody. Great example, for a long time, I really wanted to be a WordPress developer, like, back
Uh-huh.
in the day when WordPress was a thing, and I started getting clients for it. Shout out to all the web developers. Websites are not easy. Holy God. Everybody was like, "Can you add, like, a calendar that, like, meshes with my events that is also connected to our sales process?" I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Yeah, the lifestyle sucked. I love being a web developer. I
Yeah.
like the idea of that. I
Yeah.
hated the lifestyle. It was hard.
I
So
think
hard.
this way for chefs. I'm
Yeah.
like, your passion must be pain. Like
Yeah.
that must be what you love. Like that feeling of pain. Yes,
Yes.
hit me with it.
You gotta kinda love it. This is why the reason why I'm not a bodybuilder because I think the bodybuilders just enjoy the lifestyle. They like how painful it is on a daily basis. I'm over here like I can give me a 300-page study that's dry as hell, and I will read every inch of it, and I will love every second of it. That sounds so painful to some people. They're like, "Sarah, awful. Why would you purposefully do that?"
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
my passion. I don't know.
I know that is so good, Sarah, because I had to get a personal trainer to force myself in the gym, and I complain every time
Oh, I
still.
hate
I
it.
was like,
I
I hate this. This is not fun, but it's
I
good for me.
know.
Like,
Oh my gosh. And some of you are out here rocking like six-pack abs, and I'm like, good for you. I'm gonna go eat a donut.
shout out to
Passions,
Krispy
guys. Follow your
Kreme. Shout out
passion.
to Krispy Kreme along
Yeah.
the way. Ooh,
Oh my God, I
love
love
me a
it.
good old original donut. It'll be good.
It's amazing.
Sarah, something I am curious about though, tying it back to like there's a lot of stuff that happens from 0 to 7, like as
Yes.
you're that are just ingrained at that point.
Okay.
So when you're working with a brand, like where do you start? Is it understanding how your buyer was when they were
Oh
from
my
0 to 7 years old?
It took me a really, really long time, and I just had this. Shout out to Tether Lab. If you guys wanna come learn how to do this, I actually have, like, a place you can go learn to do it, but I'll have Evan drop them for you.
Yeah, I love
So that it took me 10 straight years to learn all this psychology stuff, and then outside of that, I kept having people ask, "Which ones do I apply?" I understand what heuristics are. I understand what, like, reverse psychology is. I understand all these different things. How do I apply it, though? Which ones are important, which ones aren't? So this year, I sat down and actually did some thinking on it with chat, obviously. Did
Nice.
some thinking with chat. Was like, "Chat, what's the most important things that marketers need to know?" Because there's too much. There's just too much psychology to learn. And how fast we're moving with AI and the behaviors that are coming out of that, I don't know how anybody would keep up. So I figured out there's basically 3 different things that you have to be able to know to apply this stuff. And part of it is like how you see yourself from childhood. So the first one is what we call a 3 self framework. That one's built on something called self discrepancy theory, which basically says every human on the planet has 3 versions of themselves that get basically activated all throughout the day. So those 3 versions are interesting because it applies to every human. It's not specific to one market, it's not specific to one product, it's just humans in general. The first self is actual self, who you are in this version. Like this is Sarah in actual self because I'm in my office and I'm doing a live and I'm just in the moment. Second version is ideal self, who I wish I was. I want to be a SaaS founder, like I want to have a big company, like those type of things, idealistic version. And then third is like ought self. That's who I am in parent mode. Ought self is like, you should be doing this, but you're not. Like, you should probably not give your kids cookies tonight for the 3rd night in a row, but they're cute. So, like, I do it anyway. The ought self, right? So you have ideal self, actual self, ought self. It exists in all of us. And that goes back to what we have stored memory wise from childhood. So my idealistic version of myself is probably connected to the fact that I didn't grow up with a lot of cash. Like my family didn't have a lot of money. So it's possible that my brain is associating large scale business, large scale company with security. And that's kind of how it's pulling from that like previous experience
It's got the
into
goosebumps.
the behaviors today. Yeah, yeah. It's crazy.
I
So
love this stuff. This is so cool.
it's nuts. And it applies, like I said, to every single product. So whether I'm purchasing earrings or some sort of a SaaS product that I need for my company, it's all going to keep coming from that particular bucket of like who I was at that point in time and who I want to be now. So in general, that 3 self helps us figure out where we go and who are we actually marketing to, avatar wise. The second one is valence and intensity. So valence and intensity comes from a psychological, some people call it valence and arousal, depends on which ones you find, but comes from a psychology model that tells you what type of emotion we're actually going after. Is it positive or is it negative? And then how intense that emotion is. So oftentimes in marketing, we want to go after one emotion, confidence, or like athleticism, or become the best version of you, or whatever it is. But we don't know how intense people actually want that communicated. Great example. I don't know if any of you have gone to your significant other and been like, you did not take out the trash. Like, what? Why? I asked you this morning. Or vice versa. Like, why isn't there any laundry done? What's going on? Like, what does this have? The way you describe that to that person, the intensity of the emotion you're trying to communicate will drastically change their response. So I can't go to my husband and be like, you did not take out the trash, because he will go, why are you so mad? Like, calm down. But I can probably go and be like, dude, did you take that out? Is that can you do that sometime today? The intensity levels are very different. That happens in marketing too. You can't just select the emotion. You have to select how intense you're communicating. Because oftentimes we are either not communicating intensely enough. That's actually more common for me. Or we're communicating way too intensely for some of these brands. So 3 self, valence, and intensity. And then that last one I think would be predominantly generation, which you and I have talked about a few times, of like which generation you're a part of. How do you actually respond to the world based upon your worldview? And that one, I'm slowly building a system for. That one's a harder one for me to solve because there's a lot of weirdness in there. So yes, lots of things.
What makes that last bucket difficult?
Oh, generation is hard because it blends. So I am an old millennial, but I have Gen Xer behavior because I grew up in that weird crack where it was like, I remember a time before the internet. I had a time where we didn't have a computer in the house. We had a phone that was like connected to the wall with like a cord,
Yeah.
right? So technically, I am in the millennial generation, but I act like a Gen Xer a lot of the time. So that changes my consumption behaviors, changes everything about it. So it's harder to nail.
How about also when thinking about like the younger generation?
Yes, Gen Zers are so strange. Their consumption behavior is very strange too, because
Mhm.
I think because they're growing up in a time period where like a house is like $900,000 on average, like they understand, they get it real quick. They're like, I'm not going to be able to build wealth the same way my parents or my grandparents did. So they're very careful with how they purchase things. They go for quality over quantity a lot of the times. They're also not real brand loyal. They just kind of like anything that solves the problem. Good enough seems to be their kind of mantra, as long as it fits with their like kind of emotional world. So yeah, every generation's weird. It's really hard to build a system around that, but I'm trying.
Mhm,
We're gonna
mhm.
figure it out eventually.
I love it. And those 3 buckets are super helpful for like all the brands out there. I guess what I am curious about, like within those 3 buckets, is it's like how do you populate the data into there?
So you have us build it for you, but also one of the easiest
Yeah.
ways
Plug
is,
it.
is just to like shameless plug. You could just go buy the Tether OS and it'll do it for you. One of the easiest ways though is to build yourself prompts around these, right? So chat understands a lot of the psychology because it can pull from the internet. And having it analyzed for valence intensity, 3 selves or self discrepancy, and then the generation that you're currently selling to, you'll get really far with just that. Just building yourself a prompt from these 3 things and then asking it, okay, build headlines towards these 3 things. Build, UGC from these, build landers from these, those type of things. Mhm. Get
Huge.
pretty far with chat.
Huge. Huge, huge, huge. Yeah, I'm always basically wondering, it's just like when I'm thinking about even the generation stuff, because like my head has been there a lot too. It's just like we
Yeah,
are now communicating to so many different people all
it's
at
crazy.
once. And it's like, how do we pick?
Yep.
And I find myself just going on like TikTok a lot more and trying to be a Gen Z and being like, what type of content are they looking at? Like,
What
what's
they
going on?
do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
scrolling or like looking at who's doing well in that space and like trying to understand why. It's just like, what am I doing? But at the same time, like
I
I put
think
the time in.
it helps too to have a Gen Zer in your house. I don't
Like,
well, and I have a Gen Zer relative, and then my child's a Gen Alpha. I don't they haven't named it yet, so I think they're calling it Gen Alpha.
mhm,
It's interesting to watch the consumption behaviors of both of those because my husband was talking about this the other day. He brought home Tostina's pizza rolls. Does anybody remember those
of
little
course,
tiny, like, yeah, like frozen pizza rolls?
of course.
Tostitos. My children would not eat it, wouldn't touch it. They were like, these are disgusting. Like, we're not eating these for dinner. Both Casey and I were like, oh my God, we would have died. If our mom brought home Tostina's pizza rolls, we would have been like, oh, this is the best dinner ever. Like, this is so amazing. So we're sitting there thinking, like, why did we like these? They actually are kind of disgusting. Why did we want them? And so we came to the conclusion, outside of a bunch of other influencers, commercialism. We watched commercials for hours on end for years that was promoting Tostina's pizza rolls. My children don't see commercials. They just don't see them.
That's insane.
Yeah, I'm like, so what you're telling me is that advertising does work, yes, but also too, the things that my child wants to buy are coming from his favorite YouTubers. Like, I don't know if anybody knows what Lanky Box is. I don't know what this is. Like, I've never heard of this before in my life, but it's some sort of creator that just does like funny like memes and bits on the internet. And they have toys in Target that's like little ghosts and like little, I don't know, animated
Okay.
things. That's what he wants. And I'm like, Lanky Box. Lanky Box. Okay. So Gen Zers, Gen Alpha, they are not being influenced by marketing anymore. They are
Mm,
way more influenced by the people that they actually just have like kind of a weird relationship through the screen with because they don't see advertising. Nowadays, I mean, you can pay to not see the ads that we built. So I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen in that generation, but it'll be interesting to watch because yeah, they're just not as aware of it, I guess. Could be.
yeah, it's so interesting
Yep.
because I'm trying to think back to my childhood, and it's like my version of Tostino's pizza rolls would have been like bagel bites.
Yeah,
With
I
like,
love bagel
yeah, you
bites.
know bagel bites, right? Yeah, 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 bagel bites. Like
Bagel bites. And I'm
it's
like, those actually are like that good for you. Why did we want
terrible,
that? I wanted it
terrible.
though. It was
Yeah.
big time in childhood. Yeah, my kids don't want food. They like have no food that they have an affinity towards. That's all it was in the 90s. I'm like, all
Right.
the food, like,
Right.
what was that called? Like Lucky Charms, those type of
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
They
yeah, yeah.
know that as like a treat that we have at grandma's. They don't know what Lucky Charms is.
Mm.
And outside of that, I know we're on a tangent here, but my child watches clips of SpongeBob. He won't watch the whole episode. They have YouTube channels that clip up like 5 of them and smush
Yeah.
them down into about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's what he watches. So I'm like, oh my God. Like even TV is starting to change for the younger generation. People don't watch full episodes of anything unless they're very invested. If you notice, Game of Thrones had a predominant like generation, like viewers of about millennial to Gen Xer. Lots of boomers also watched it, but the younger generations aren't as interested,
Yeah.
which I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
no,
yeah.
this is
Yeah,
going to be
that's
interesting.
I'm very so one of the things so I thought of something similar, not in the exact same way, but it's like with this stream, right? Like the
Mm.
stream I have anywhere from we see 69 people, but like I've ranged from 69 to
Yes.
500. Like
Mm-hmm.
nothing like the events that we'll do, but I am thinking about it in clips. Like
Yes.
I'm like after the short version of
Yep.
clips, like that's what I want people to
Yep.
watch. Like
That's what we
that's
want.
the version of what like
Exactly.
the consumption is going to be.
I know.
But
Well,
how
this
are
is
you?
where
Sorry,
sorry, go ahead.
go.
This
Go,
is
go,
where
go.
I think movies are starting to go to, because like I haven't seen it yet, but I heard that the second Happy Gilmore is built like a TikTok.
I haven't
It
seen it either yet.
I
Oh
haven't seen
man.
it yet, but some people are saying like it clips it up about every 4 to 5 seconds, it'll switch to a different screen, and they think they did it that way because they wanted to clip it for TikTok. I'm like,
That is nuts.
I don't like it.
That
I don't
is
like it.
nuts. So that's what I was actually gonna ask you though, like with
Mm.
all this information, like where is the world going in your
Oh.
opinion?
I see this as a very interesting like morphism of the industry. Right now, I don't think a lot of people realize we are not advertisers for social media anymore. That hasn't happened since 2020, since we had retargeting. Once retargeting went away, we are now TV advertisers. Our ads are targeted to broad audiences. We don't choose where that goes, the algorithm does. Our ads are also delivered to people who may not be in purchasing mode. They might be sitting on their couch scrolling and buying, but they might also be standing on a train, just killing time before they get to work, right? So we don't have control over where the ad goes, who sees it, and when. We are no longer social media advertisers. We are TV advertisers. And that changes a lot of like what we should put in place, how we need to say things, and exactly how we need to build the actual formulas inside the ads themselves. I also think a lot of what's coming next is going to be more participation marketing. These people don't necessarily need like hyper personalization, although that's kind of coming too. But what they want is they want to interact with it. They want to have a reason to comment, is what that means. They're
Mm,
not looking for something just to watch and like, oh, that's interesting, and then scroll by. Lots of these people want to sit here and have a conversation about something that's important to them without the social pressure of doing it in person. So advertisers need to be aware you might have to take a stance in the next couple of years on something that's very, very important to you, whether it's, you know, the economy, or whether it's social aspects, or whether it's the environment, and whatever it is, take your stance and make it pretty definitive, because people want to invest in the brands that actually align with their own emotional interior worlds. So long-winded way of saying I think this is going to become more TV focused, because people are just scrolling channels basically.
yeah.
Once they find something they want, they dedicate a lot of attention to it. So this has nothing to do with attention. But then secondary to that is the brands who can formulate the loudest and most definitive opinion are the ones that will win. Yeah.
Mic drop. Jeez.
That's what I do.
One of the things that I was thinking about as you're talking, and this has been top of mind for me too. It's like there's some version of a blend more than ever before of organic and paid
Yes.
in my mind.
Mhm.
Yeah, think you're seeing it
Mhm.
the same way.
Yeah, I'm also noticing a blend of social media and website. So I've seen some SaaS brands recently that are generating social media on websites. So they have their own like board where you can comment in real time on this brand's website, and they have like ways you can share pictures of like what you're doing with the products and all kinds of things. I'm like, whoa, like this, we're just going to see this weird kind of blending of all sorts of different social things because people crave it. They just want ways to share and to be opinionated. So yeah, I think you're right.
How do you operate in a world like that?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm sitting over here going, "Ooh, I'm stressed." For brands, this is going to require you to automate a crap ton of your backend systems, which is the reason why I'm moving over to like OS based ClickUp builds, because I'm like, you do not need to be spending 4 hours researching for brand ads anymore, because N8N can pull that information for you in 30 seconds. You just don't need it. You also do not need to be sitting here analyzing one piece of information at a time for valence and intensity, 3-self, generation. Chat can do that for you, and N8N can automate it. So I'm like, at this point, automate your creative strategy as much as you possibly can. Automate the internal systems so that your creative strategist can be creative. And then, from the top, please, 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 CMOs, founders, any of you people, I need you guys to pick a direction. Like, please tell us what we're supposed to be communicating from the top. Like, that would be incredibly helpful. If you care a lot about the environment and you want to tell people now is the time to stand up, tell us, like, tell the creative strategists, I want you to be more definitive. We are going to start to tell people it's not okay to use plastic anymore. Whatever kind of language you want to use is fine, but you got to tell us what you want us to communicate, because we're kind of just making it up out here, trying to figure out, is this right? Is this right? Is this right? It's faster if you can have your own opinion at the top, and then we can go at it hard from the bottom. So yeah, I digress.
I love it, Sarah. I have so many follow-up questions, but I know we're at time here. I know we're at time. So
I love it. I love chatting with you. Thank you.
I would love to do it again. Honestly, even offline, because like there's so many things that I'm curious about, like what your take is. So
there's a
if we can
lot.
set something up, that'd be great.
Yes.
But there is one question that I ask everybody who joins the show. If you don't have an immediate answer, throw it to me first. I can help out.
Okay.
But the question is, do you have a favorite quote? And if so, what is it and why?
Do you have a favorite quote?
Quote, yes.
Oh my gosh. I should. Oh, I do. Okay, I have one. I had to think about that. I was like, do I have a quote? There's one that I saw on TikTok. Sarah watches a lot of TikTok. I don't know where this came from, but it was a quote that said, you don't believe what you see what you've already decided to believe. And that one hurt my heart. You see what you've already decided to believe. So if you believe that you're not going to make it, that this is a hard industry, that everything is rough, that's exactly what you're going to see. If you believe, hey, this is opportunity, man. We can automate things. We can make it easier for the humans. Everything's going to go up. That's what you're going to see. Yeah.
Huge. Yeah, that's so real. Cause I even think that like leads to the rose-colored glasses piece.
Yes.
Too. It's just like, you're going to see it. Well, you want to believe in this person or whatever it might be. It's like, you're going to see it that way. So whatever it might be. Sarah, this has been incredible. I've enjoyed this conversation. Are there any final words you want to leave with the audience today?
Oh, other than just like, hey, I know it's hard. This has been a weird year, tariffs and everything. It's still moving up. Like I just see so many people in their head about it. Just like, this is the worst like year that we've had. Everything flows, everything ebbs. The next piece is going to be one of the most interesting times to be a marketer. And I think it's going to be one of the easiest times to build a brand and to scale it quickly and easily, because we can automate things that we used to take weeks to do. So yeah, it's coming. It's taken a while, guys, but we're getting there. Good things are coming.
This is so interesting because no one ever plugs themselves. So I'm like, freaking hell, Jesus. I would say final words, and they go somewhere else. I'm just like that, but this too, everybody. Everybody, tap in with Sarah. You have to. Everything you need will be on her page. Check out Tethered Insights. Get the product. See what she's cooking up. Everybody needs to tap in with Sarah. Okay.
Thank you. You're the best, Evan. I love our conversations.
You're the best, Sarah. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you really soon. But
thank you. You guys.
Later. Bye. Everybody, this is incredible.
I'm trying.
I know it's always that awkward moment. I
know. Well, and I'm trying. Like, it loads long time. So okay, now I'm really
learned to talk over it. See ya. Everybody, Sarah's always a breath of fresh air. Am I right? Like, there's just an energy that she has that's both calming and energizing at the same time. So I think there's a level of certainty that she has in her expertise that is so appreciated. Like, there's something powerful about it. But this conversation was an interesting one. There's been so much that's been on my mind that I actually want to ask Sarah about more, in all honesty. Like, a lot of the pieces around, again, she's a master in psychology at this point and understanding how people's brains work. So I've always been curious about what people's opinion are on the topic of passion, because passion is like, if you associate it with an outcome, like I said earlier, you almost forget that you have to go step by step, day by day to figure things out. But Sarah's approach made sure that it incorporated to love your day to day. Like that's what you really have to fall in love with. And that was super helpful. And also her comments just around like the generational piece. So it's just like understanding which each generation wants, and the most complicated being when there's overlap between the wants of different generations. Like that was super helpful. And I also think she mixed in some really great tactical advice. So tactical advice along the way. There are 3 steps that you all can follow tomorrow, essentially, of being able to say, how can I apply to the brand, to your brand? Or you can just go check out Tethered Insights, see what Sarah has going on, and sign up for that one. But everybody, I appreciate the time. We were hanging out earlier. I'm actually going to go take some of the stuff Sarah said and apply it to what I was working on in that go-to-market narrative. But if there are any questions, hit us up in the comments. But I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we got Grace Clark from Shopify, the homie. Super excited for Grace to come on here. And then Savannah Sanchez as well. So to get a peek behind the curtain with Savannah as well. Everybody, this has been a blast. But check us out at ThumbstopLive, streaming Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Hit me if you have any questions, and we will talk soon, y'all. Appreciate it. Later. Peace.